Hello, everybody. I'm here with Dr. Marie Olson. Welcome, Dr. Marie Olson. How are you today?
I'm doing good, thank you. How are you, Trish?
I'm good. I'm good. The weather seems to be good.
Yes.
So, anytime the weather's good, I feel good.
Perfect.
So, Dr. Olson, tell everyone exactly what kind of doctor are you?
Sure. I have a Doctor of Science degree in audiology, so I'm an audiologist, and I
Wow.
help people who have concerns about their hearing or if they experience any ringing in their ears or tinnitus.
Tinnitus, yes, that seems to be a big problem coming along with people. During COVID, I know a few people who were hit with tinnitus because of COVID. And believe it or not, they still have it. So, should you be seeing those people and could you help them?
Yes, anyone who has tinnitus, we're more than happy to see. It's very important for them to have their hearing tested to see if the tinnitus could be related to hearing loss or hearing status. But tinnitus can be caused by so many different reasons, whether it be additional stress, poor sleep habits, head or neck or back pain, jaw pain. Those can all be sources of tinnitus. And then, of course, noise exposure, which is a more common occurrence in today's lively environments.
I know you mentioned that, but again, I know a couple of people who got tinnitus from COVID
Mhm.
and they're healthy people. They're not seniors, they're healthy people. And it's kind of bizarre that these people were getting tinnitus by COVID. Have you experienced
I
that?
haven't experienced that, but we have had quite a few patients report that. Keep in mind during COVID, that was the world epidemic. It was the first time anyone has ever been, forced to isolate, work from home, deal with kids or aging parents, or not be able to see family as often as possible. So there could be a stress factor there as well.
Okay. Okay. Well, I'll definitely recommend you to those people who still have it, believe it or not,
Mhm.
because I think it's important that they see somebody, for that condition.
Of course,
But another,
especially someone who specializes in tinnitus.
of course, I think I will definitely want to recommend you for them to see you.
Thank you.
Now, what are some of the early signs of hearing loss that I deal with seniors? By the way, I'm sorry I didn't mention that to you. The senior concierge service, that's my business. I deal with seniors on a regular basis. And some of them have, of course, hearing loss, have hearing aids. This was why I thought it was so important to have you on to discuss that because a lot of my clients are seniors. What are the early signs of hearing loss that seniors or their family members should start watching out for?
Yeah, that's an excellent question. And because hearing loss is a hidden condition, it's
Oh,
something that occurs gradually. It's very unlikely for someone to wake up one morning and realize they're not hearing as well. Um, and it's also not a painful condition. So it's something that we can easily ignore or dust under the rug until we have our next experience of not being able to hear properly. It's very common for family members and loved ones to notice someone is having hearing loss or difficulty hearing before the individual does. Some common warning signs are you're raising the volume of the TV. You might be avoiding going to certain restaurants or to certain new gatherings because you don't know who you're going to meet, if you're going to mishear someone's name, or if there might be loud background music that makes it more challenging to hear. So those are really some signs that either the family member, a loved one, or the individual might realize, I'm having more difficulty more often than my friends are, or so and so is saying to me, I'm often having to ask what, or can you please repeat that? And it's really important for everyone, regardless of age, to at least have a hearing test as a baseline because you never know
okay.
what's going to happen in the future that might impact your hearing. And it's because hearing loss does occur very gradually. Someone could have a mild hearing loss and not even realize it. People who are
Well,
in
when you say, what age should people start coming in
e-
and
every
having hearing?
person should have a hearing loss, in my opinion, every 5 or 10 years. But typically, once you get into your 50s, that's when you really do need to have a baseline hearing test. Yeah,
Well, then, I guess I have to come in, Doctor Olson, because I haven't had that test, so I think I have to come in and make an appointment.
of course.
S yes, question, do you take Medicare?
We do take Medicare. However, Medicare does not cover hearing tests specifically for the purposes of hearing aids unless there's a medical reason. So we do recommend anyone who's interested in coming to our office, please give us a call, give us your insurance information, and we'll be happy to check to see what benefits you do have.
Yeah, I mean, people in their 50s just have regular, health care,
Mhm.
so maybe their insurance will cover that, but Medicare does not cover hearing aids, and the reason why I know that is because I took one of my clients to be tested, for a hearing aid, and he almost fell off his chair because it was like $3,000.
For
He
the
couldn't
hearing
believe
aid, not the hearing test. Right.
No, for the hearing aid. The
Mhm.
test, I believe, was covered by Medicare, but I don't think the hearing aid was actually covered. And that's a shame because I think hearing aids should be covered by Medicare.
I definitely agree. We have had multiple bills. We currently have a bill in Congress right now that we're trying to get direct access for especially seniors to the audiologist. It just hasn't gotten approved in many, many years, and it's just going through that cycle.
Yeah, it's really a shame that that hasn't been covered uh so far in Medicare because it is part of the aging
Of
process.
course.
People, obviously over 70 and 80 where a lot of my clients and it just a natural decline in the hearing. And I know people try to avoid it. People just feel, "Oh, I'm just getting old. I don't need a hearing aid." But that's not true. You need a hearing aid because I've also read that if you don't have an hearing aid, that can affect your cognitive
Correct.
psych.
So there has been some research that leads to that states untreated hearing loss can contribute to cognitive decline, and it's not that it's the untreated hearing loss, meaning you have a hearing loss and not wearing hearing aids, but untreated hearing loss can be managed. Hearing loss can be improved while you're wearing hearing aids. Also, when someone has hearing loss, as I stated before, they might avoid social situations, they might avoid new experiences. So it's not the hearing loss per se that is causing the cognitive decline, but it can also be influencing experiences or lack of socialization that can also contribute to cognitive decline. And there's a lot of miscommunication about that.
Yeah, it's very important to have the social gatherings for these seniors because it does affect their cognitive abilities and we do try to get the seniors out there and being social. And they're not going to want to be social if they can't hear.
Exactly. Right. And you
You
don't
know,
know if
they're not
you
going to want to be social.
exactly, and you can't remember something if you didn't hear it correctly.
True. And a lot of clients also they just let it go. I mean, if they don't hear something, they don't let it go. And then when they run into that person again, they can't remember what the conversation was about because they didn't hear half of the conversation.
Exactly.
So, yeah, so that's the battles I'm going through right now with my clientele right now. So, but I'm glad I'm speaking to you about these things because I have something to go back and tell them, hey, listen, I spoke to Dr. Marie Olson,
Yeah.
and this is what she said. So
Of course.
this is just not
Exactly. When someone comes in either for that baseline hearing test or to see what degree of hearing loss they have, these are exactly the questions and the conversations that we have with individuals. We don't want someone to come in and say, I'm avoiding going to family events or social gatherings or lunch with my friends because I'm not hearing well. At that time, it's not that it's too late, but we want to see people sooner. We want to see them before they realize that they're having difficulty hearing so that they're not isolating themselves. They're still enjoying their friendships and their family and new experiences.
that's true. That's true. What about the over the counter hearing aids that I hear some of my clients say, well, I'm just gonna go to CVS or Walgreens and get an over-the-counter hearing aid, and because I only have a mild hearing aid. What do you say to that?
Over the counter hearing aids are exactly that. They're over the counter. They don't take into consideration someone's degree of hearing loss. You don't
True.
know if you have a mild hearing loss unless you've had your hearing tested. So, again, another reason why that hearing test is so important. It doesn't take into account someone's sound comfort levels or dexterity. You might not be given instruction on how to properly insert it into the ear canal. So whenever someone asks me about over the counter hearing aids, I say, if you want to try that, by all means try it. But if
Right.
you have difficulty or if it doesn't work for you, don't let that be your last stop. There's still a lot of other solutions that are available for people. The other problem with over the counter hearing aids is they aren't regulated. So um,
True.
the standards, there's so much variability. There's good companies out there, there's not so great companies out there, there's tons of marketing. I teach as well, and one of the assignments that I have for my students is to research over the counter hearing aids, and they're each assigned a company, and they all come back to me and say, you can't believe how many phone calls and emails and other targeted marketing um, questions that they were
Right.
given by the company.
Oh, yeah, because there is over-the-counter hearing aids is like one size fits all.
Correct.
So, unless they're getting that test, they're not gonna really know, what they're gonna need.
Correct.
What options do low income I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, for over-the-counter hearing aids, it might work well for one person, it might work well for your neighbor, but not yourself. There's just so much variability there.
Yeah, yeah, true, true. What options do low income seniors have if they can't afford a hearing aid?
There are local or various types of nonprofits and even charities that can sometimes help or at least provide some type of refurbished hearing aid. In New Jersey, there is the New Jersey Hearing Aid Project that is run by Montclair State University and the Division for Deaf and Hard of Hearing. That's a New Jersey state organization. The individual does need to complete an application. They do need to qualify, and then they might be able to receive either one or two refurbished hearing aids, but it is a very long process to go through that application process before they actually get the hearing aid.
Yeah, because I think a lot of people don't seek out a hearing aid or getting tested because they feel they can't afford it.
Correct.
So, that's why it's important for people to try to, um, seek out these nonprofits that can help them, and, maybe we can provide a link to something at the end of this interview,
Sure,
Doctor
I'll be
Olson. Do
happy
you
to
have
provide
anything?
the website, the link for the New Jersey Division of Hard of Hearing, and it's called the New Jersey Hearing Aid Project.
Okay, that'll be fantastic. Going back to, tinnitus, what exactly is it and what causes it? I know I talked to you about people getting it from COVID. Is there any other way other than, listening to loud music? But it's not is it considered a
It's
disease?
not considered a disease, it's considered a condition, and it's
Condition,
typically a side effect of some other type of condition or occurrence that is happening in the body. Noise exposure is definitely a major cause or can be a major contributor to tinnitus. There are some medications that are ototoxic that can damage the inner ear and that can cause tinnitus. Um,
oh,
Individuals who
medication.
receive chemotherapy, tinnitus is sometimes a side effect of chemotherapy. So, individuals who are going for chemotherapy or any kind of radiation to the head or the neck, again, it's very important to have that baseline hearing test so you know where your hearing is before there's any type of change that might occur.
Wow, I had no idea that someone who had chemo I'm a cancer survivor, and thank God I didn't get that, but
Okay.
I didn't realize that chemo could be a side effect. Tinnitus could
Tinnitus
be a
could be a
side
side
effect
effect. It
of
is possible,
that.
it's not guaranteed, but it depends on the individual and how the body reacts to the
Sure.
chemotherapy or to any other what we call ototoxic medication.
And, do you have an actual, medicine for that type of, condition?
There's no medicine for tinnitus. You will see tons of supplements online. They are not approved by the FDA. There is, sometimes the placebo effect might take into account, but there's no research supporting the various supplements that are available. But again, working with someone who specializes in tinnitus, there's different testing and evaluation we can go through to see how the tinnitus is impacting the person's hearing, how it might be impacting their socialization. Is the ringing in your ears so loud that you're not able to hear someone in a restaurant or other type of challenging situation?
Right.
Sometimes hearing loss can be a cause of tinnitus. So again, having that relationship with the professional and taking it on an individual basis as to, understanding the person's lifestyle, understanding the person's stressors, where they're having difficulty hearing, where their tinnitus is most bothersome. There's no one size fits all.
Yeah, I didn't realize. I knew there wasn't any medication, but I did wanna ask you that personally because I do know people who have it,
Mhm.
and, I really wanted to ask that question directly to you.
Of course, there's
What about
there's various types of sound therapies that are available, and we also specialize in tinnitus retraining therapy. So it literally is educating the individual as to what tinnitus is and what it is not, identifying certain tools or activities that can help a person to reduce their tinnitus, and then moving forward from there.
who seems to have the most hearing loss, female or male?
It's not gender.
Okay.
There are some studies that show female hormones do tend to protect the inner ear. So sometimes once a female goes through menopause, they may realize that they start to have more difficulty hearing. But again, it's a very individualized thing. Generally
Okay.
speaking, men tend to have more noise exposure compared to women. So, at least
Right.
historically speaking, that of course can make it more susceptible for men to have hearing loss more than females. But again, it depends on an individual's overall health, on their noise exposure, their lifestyle, not so much gender
Yeah.
based.
When you keep mentioning noise and music and I'm thinking about children.
Yes.
Now they have those earplugs in their ears, constantly listening to music, constantly on the phone, right, on their cell
Correct.
phones, constantly. What are the demographics of what's happen well, their demographics on the children and hearing loss?
Yeah, so tinnitus is and noise-induced hearing loss as well, but specifically tinnitus is becoming more prevalent in teenagers and young adults.
Oh, wow.
When I was a kid, I had Walkmans, I had the cushions that went over
Yes,
the ears, and I listened to them either in the car or on a bus or maybe walking to school. I wasn't listening
right.
to them, 6 or 8 hours a day. So today's generation, they always have something in their ears. It goes in the ear
Yes.
canal, meaning that it's
Yeah,
closer to the eardrum, so it's going to appear louder and therefore possibly cause noise exposure. But the iPhones, Apple products, most technology does have a sound limiter or at least a sound notification when you are exposing yourself to any kind of sound that could damage your hearing.
yeah, I can imagine. So you're getting a bigger clientele of children?
Correct, yes. Older children typically
Older
and
children,
young
yeah.
adults. So, people do associate hearing loss and tinnitus with seniors or with the older
Yeah,
population, but that really
yes.
is a misconception in today's day and age. Hearing loss is not really age dependent. But of course, the older you are, the more likely you are to have noise exposure, health conditions, other cardiovascular conditions that can impact someone's hearing ability.
So when we're talking about teenagers and they end up getting tinnitus, a condition of tinnitus, Does this mean it's going to be with them forever?
It's hard to say. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be with them forever. That's why it's so important to manage the tinnitus and to get an education about the tinnitus because you don't want it to overcome someone's life. And you
Yeah.
additionally do not want to strengthen that emotional or that anxiety bond or reaction
Right.
to,
Yeah.
oh my goodness, I'm hearing this ringing in my ears. What is it? When is it going to go away? Is it going to get worse? That type of reaction makes it more difficult to manage with the tinnitus.
Well, I think that parents should be advised to possibly have their children have a certain amount of time without having the ear plugs in their ears, being on the phone, listening to music. Just like they say about television, children should not be sitting in front of the television more than 2 hours at a time. Maybe parents should take that advice and keep their children from also protecting their ears
Yeah, I
and not
definitely
being,
agree.
you
There
know.
should definitely be more public service announcements and health awareness. Just like it's important to buckle your seatbelt when you're in the car, it's important to protect your vision, your time on social media, your screen time, and we're all guilty of it, not just the young kids.
Right, right. No, that's true. Maybe the school should start having people like you, Dr. Olson, come in and speak to the children and the parents to advise them that, please have some type of time limit on your children, with the plugs in their ears, and just having constant noise in their ear, and their ears never getting any rest.
Correct.
Do, do seniors have to sleep with their hearing aids?
Most
Also, in case they run into an emergency at night?
most people, children as well as seniors, do not wear their hearing aids to bed. There is a specific product that we work with called Lyric that goes deep in the ear canal. A person wears it 24/7, so they do go to bed with it. And then they come into our office about every 2 months. But for people who wear hearing aids that they can take in and out, it's not
Yeah.
recommended for the hearing aids to stay in the ears 24/7 unless there's some kind of safety concern. There are other types of what we call assisted listening devices for individuals who have hearing loss for when they're sleeping. So there's like vibrating pillows, vibrating alarm clocks,
Oh,
things of that
okay.
nature, so that if you do have hearing loss that prevents you from hearing an audible alarm, there are other ways that a person can be woken up. There are of smoke alarm and fire alarm systems that flash so that you should be woken up by the flash if for some reason you're not woken up by the loud sound of a fire alarm.
I'm also aware someone who has tinnitus, they have to sleep with music because the noise is so loud in their head that they have to put on some kind of classical music, or they have to put some kind of raindrop music or anything just to drum out, the sound
Correct.
in their head.
Yes, because the tinnitus is a signal that's occurring in the brain so that when it's quiet and your brain has nothing else to listen to, you want to give your brain something to hear and distract yourself with. So that's again something that we work with very specifically with our patients because the same noise isn't going to be helpful for all individuals who have tinnitus.
Okay, okay. Well, this is some wonderful information that you passed on to me and to everyone who's watching this video. I appreciate you coming in, Dr. Anne Marie Olson.
My pleasure.
This is Yeah, this is some great information about tinnitus, about hearing aids, and when you should come in and get checked out. Everyone, the information will be linked in the notes. If you like to contact Dr. Anne Marie Olson, or if you want more information about tinnitus, or the refurbish
Mhm.
hearing aid seniors who can't afford to come in and have a brand new hearing aid. We appreciate you doing that, and we appreciate you coming in.
Thank you.
So thank you so much,
Thank
Dr.
you
Olson, for
very
coming
much.
in. All right. Thank you so much.
Have a
Bye
good
bye.
day. Thank you, Trish.
Thank you.